My second reason why I believe that this is the best Batman and superhero film out there, and to a certain extent, the best Christopher Nolan film. The movie, when you talk about this grounded tone, you're talking about a lot of tones that lead to filmmaking in possibly different genres. Mm-hmm. You know, and these tones, these genres, they take priority over the superhero film.
Yeah.
Superheroes almost last on the list.
Right.
You know, the opening of this movie, it's a heist flick. Mm-hmm.
Let's go, pal. I'm making a withdrawal here.
I'm like, man, you ain't got to do me like that shit, man. I was going to give you the money, man. I got to drag my ass across the desk like that.
Right. No, this is my money. You can have it.
Now you just being mean, man. You just being a dick. Go on over to dtmerch.com. Show some love to us by getting that merch that we have available for you. Check us out. Double Toasted live in Atlanta. That's going to be September 2nd for a night of comedy games and the after party that we have going on for you. That's going to be at the Marriotta's new theater in the square. So this is a big week for old Christopher Nolan right here. Look at you like, you goddamn right it is. Yes, it's going to be a big week for old Christopher Nolan over here. You know, he's having the big release of his highly anticipated film, Oppenheimer.
Why? How about because this is the most important thing to ever happen in the history of the world?
You're the great. You gonna pick my hat up? Oh, you gonna make me pick it up? All right. He like, bitch, you see my hat?
I know, he looks so sad.
Like, man, you saw my hat hit the ground.
That when we push that button, we destroy the world. Chances are near zero.
Really? Look, don't play me like I'm stupid, all right? Like I ain't no rocket scientist or atomic scientist like you, but I know what a bomb is.
At near zero?
Yeah. You'll be all right. Yeah, this is the latest Christopher Nolan film based on, I guess Hollywood based. Yeah. On real life. We don't know how much it's exaggerated, but what we do know is that there are tons of Christopher Nolan fans out there, almost cult-like, and they look forward to anything that this man releases, and this is no different. And while for Christopher Nolan fans out there, that this is a big deal. It is a big deal for you. This man hasn't had a movie in a while, so understand the hype surrounding this film right here. But this week is also big for Christopher Nolan in a historical sense, because this week, let's see what we got here. This week, we're celebrating something, and I'm definitely celebrating something that means a lot to me. I don't know what it means to you. I don't know what it means to you, Martin Thomas, but I know that this movie right here changed my life.
Is that right?
It did. Because I watched this movie and I said, you know what? Batman can't exist if he wants to.
It does lay it out in such a way.
I looked
between the two movies.
Oh yeah. Before, where Batman was just a comic book character, when The Dark Knight came out, I said, man, you know what? If I had $1 billion, I could be Batman.
You don't get ahead of yourself.
I don't have $1 billion, Martin, so I ain't going nowhere. But this is the 15th anniversary of The Dark Knight. So this came out July 18th, 15 years ago.
Okay.
So as of this recording right now, it is July 16th. So in a couple of days, we will be celebrating the 15th anniversary of The Dark Knight. In a way, this kind of changed the face of superhero films out there.
Mm-hmm. Bruce, this is Harvey Dent.
You look nervous.
I've seen now what I have to become.
You know, this is a film that made a lot of history right here. It gave us probably the best version of the Joker by a lot of standards out there. You had Heath Ledger, who posthumously won an Academy Award for, was it a best supporting actor? Was The Dark Knight nominated for Best Picture also?
I don't remember.
Okay, I don't know. I know a lot of people said it should have been.
I don't think it was.
Yeah. It was ahead of its time in that regard.
Yeah, no, it certainly was. And it was not nominated for Best Picture. But I know a lot of people. I think this was the one where people were saying, you need to change this whole attitude towards genre movies because this is an excellent film and it should have been nominated for Best Picture. So it kind of pushed the Academy Awards to acknowledge films outside of the norm.
Sure, you know, and whether you get nominated also depends on your competition.
Exactly. I love when we started this trailer right here. When I started this trailer right here, this girl in the back, she talking about, Chi-Town. I was like, Gotham. Okay, ain't no shot, nothing about this Gotham, all right? It's Gotham, it's Gotham. So, you know, with The Dark Knight, I know we have a lot of Christopher Nolan movies out there. And you know, and while I might not like all of them, I respect all of them, and I definitely respect Christopher Nolan as a filmmaker with integrity. I can tell you that right now.
Oh yeah.
You know, this guy is all about film, right down to pulling in a bunch of directors and telling these people, y'all need to drop that digital shit. Get on this for real film right here. Go back to what made you what you are.
I mean, nobody wants to hear it, and you know, doing digital is easier and all that. But he's not wrong. We see what's happening with this digital revolution, how things just don't feel real.
Oh yeah. And you know, sure have the directors walked out saying, but you know, he had a point. Yeah. You know, he says that this is not about me. This is not about y'all. This is about the integrity of cinema,
the art.
Yeah. So
I mean, otherwise, why are you even doing this?
Exactly. So that's why I'm looking at this movie right here, and I'm saying that years later, and I don't want anybody to think I'm disrespecting any of the other bodies of work of Christopher Nolan at all. I would just say this. There's an argument that can be made why The Dark Knight is not only the best Batman film, why it's not only the best superhero film, but it could also be argued that it's the best Christopher Nolan film ever. And I want to get into those reasons right now. And if you have some reasons, please contribute. But I'm going to go down a line of reasons why I think that this movie right here is all three of those things. Now, I'm a little biased because I fell in love with this movie the first time I saw it. I saw this.
Who didn't?
I know. I saw this 4 times in the theater. And it does, you know, it's a big, it left a big impression on me because when I saw this, I think, do we see an IMAX screening of this?
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about Baby Max.
No.
You know, I'm talking about Daddy Max. I'm talking about big ass real IMAX. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's get into some reasons why I believe, and I'm sure you have some too that I probably will miss. Let's talk about why The Dark Knight is the best superhero, Batman, and Christopher Nolan movie that is made. And these are my reasons. So I think, let me just start out with this. I was joking before saying that it made me feel like I could be Batman. It made me feel like Batman can exist out there. And to a certain extent, I do believe that. Now, I know that this is still a comic book movie, but I believe that The Dark Knight, my first reason right here, is that it gave us the most believable Batman film. You know, because it chose to do more. It chose to do more than just be a superhero film. Now, it still is. I mean, listen, you know, it still got a guy dressed like a bat chasing a clown around the city. And can't nobody catch either one of these fools, all right? You know, the government would be on their ass in a minute if they got as far as they did. They wouldn't even get that far.
Well, it is a thing where we are introduced to a Gotham City that is so corrupt that it's almost like anything goes. Like it's even talked about how the cops, they've all been investigated by internal affairs. Like none of them are good.
Oh, yeah. No, everybody's corrupt. It's a city torn apart. It's rotten with corruption, man. So, you know, this is one of the reasons why you can buy this as a grounded, believable superhero film. You know, because it is very grounded. It is very realistic in its tone. You know, and made me to believe that a rich guy could dress up in bat armor and fight crime. You know, and I think the reason why leads to my second reason why I believe that this is the best Batman and superhero film out there, and to a certain extent, the best Christopher Nolan film. The movie, when you talk about this grounded tone, you're talking about a lot of tones that lead to filmmaking in possibly different genres. Mm-hmm. You know, and these tones, these genres, they take priority over the superhero film.
Yeah.
Superheroes almost last on the list.
Right.
You know, the opening of this movie. It's a heist flick.
Let's go, pal. I'm making it with gold here.
I'm like, man, you ain't gotta do me like that, shit, man. I was gonna give you the money, man. I gotta drag my ass across the desk like that.
Right, no, this is my money. You can have it.
Now you just being mean, man. You just being a dick. You know, that's very much a heist film right there, a heist crime film. You have also a thriller where it feels like some of this feels like they're trying to catch a serial killer.
Yeah.
You know, they got some very scary moments in here with the Joker, like this hostage video part.
Yeah.
You know, it's a very frightening moment, man. And you know, I remember when everybody was in the theater, they because it's the Joker, everybody was laughing. And then he stopped doing it, like, listen to me. And they were like, oh shit, this bitch is serious. And it got to be very.
What happened to the jokes?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Man, you were funny. What happened? You know, it's like it became terrifying for a moment.
You do, Brian. Man's made Gotham a better place.
Even Bruce was like, God damn.
Right.
I don't know if Batman can take care of this. And I like the way he's looking at that dude. He's like, man, yeah.
Everybody can see that.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, Batman can't save this one. So you have two genres right there. You have a thriller. You have a heist film, an action heist film. Let's not forget that this, you know, a lot of people are talking about how this felt like a spy adventure too. You know,
He has to go to Hong Kong.
Oh yeah, I love that part, man. When he goes to Hong Kong, you get to see him in his armor, and he's not even Batman at that moment. He's something like Ethan Hunt from Mission Impossible.
Mr. Wayne?
Yeah.
Good luck.
You know, that's what made it so cool, man, because before he puts that cowl on, before he put those ears on, you know, that's a very tactical suit right there.
Oh yeah. Well, the movie is very detail oriented in walking you through how he's going to do what he does. It's not just, well, he's got money, so it happens.
Yeah.
It's like him and Lucius, they work out a plan, and he says, I want you to make me a suit that can do this, this, and this. Oh, you mean you want to be able to turn your head, you want to be able to move, and here's where it's going to be vulnerable. But this is what all these little things that just build to making all of this world believable.
It's amazing how not only this film is able to float between these different genres seamlessly, but it just shows you how this is one movie where I said, you know what, this man he's directing so many kind of different films in this one movie right here, which comes together to make in my opinion, one big perfect film. But you know, it shows how talented he is.
Yeah.
You know, as a director, where he took all those influences, because I'm sure that he had a few influences here for that. Now, I'm just going to take a guess and say that, you know, he was influenced by maybe something like Heat.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, that part with the spy stuff is part James Bond.
Yeah.
Some of it is Mission Impossible. So, you know, it's prioritizing those tones over this being just a comic book movie adds to the grounded feel of this, even though some of those things are exaggerated. But it did take it out of this fantasy comic book world.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because you know, he established so much with Batman Begins, because that was also hey, we're building Batman from the ground up.
Yep.
And he's not insane. He's just driven. And this is how he learns this, and this is how this gets put together.
Yeah.
So so much of that has been established, and here he doesn't have to cover it. I mean, go over it again. It's just, okay, from what we've already set up, now let's move forward. Yeah, no, definitely. You just hit it perfectly. You said they explain how Batman can do Batman. You know what I mean? How he can be Batman, because, with all these other movies that we've had, he just pulled weapons and gadgets out his ass. Yeah. And if anybody asks questions, I'm rich, bitch. I got money. Hey, shut the Yeah, go get yourself something, man. Go across the street, get us a two-piece. Yeah, go buy yourself something nice. Hey, question me, I'm Batman. But here, they explain, as you said, it's very detail-oriented, what they do here. Here we get a believable explanation of how Batman is able to do what he does. I mean, Batman Begins, we got the training and all, and all the background on his own skills, but he can't do it alone. No one can. So we get to see Morgan Freeman, who plays Lucius Fox. He's great in that role, and he do a great job of showing the relationship between the two, how, a friendly relationship, of course, but also how Lucius Fox
helps him not only build the gadgets, but okay, you got money, but if I wasn't here, your ass would be broke. Because you'd be spending all this shit and you just wouldn't even keep account of how you're spending the money.
Jumping out of an airplane is pretty straightforward.
What about getting back into the plane without it landing?
You're like, oh, you think you funny? You got jokes. You know, you still work for me. You know that, right? Mr. Wayne, funny, ain't it? You know, there's been other characters that have played Lucius Fox. Let's not act like Morgan Freeman's the only one that's done it. And you can see a whole lot of people. You have Morgan Freeman, Chris Chalk, Spike Lee has played Lucius Fox at one time.
What?
No, I'm kidding. That's not Spike Lee. No, there's been a lot of people that have played Lucius Fox.
When did Ernie Hudson play Lucius Fox?
Batman, Bad Blue.
Oh, one of the animated movies.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying with these. You've had a lot of versions of Lucius Fox, but on the big screen, I believe Morgan Freeman's the only one that has done that.
I think so, on the big screen.
Yeah.
I know. Chris Chalk was on Gotham.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of these are straight to, they're either on the shows like Gotham or you can see here Batman, the animated series. And some of these are straight to video releases. You know, animated movies that they've done.
Yeah. Brock Peters was on the animated show, animated series.
So, yeah, you know, but given that we had this version of Lucius Fox in this movie right here, this great film right here, you know, it's, again, it brought a lot of believability to this character. And also, it's just a really cool relationship those two have.
They all have, you know, you got top-notch actors in this. So between the two of them and Michael Caine, everybody has a great chemistry with each other.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. So, you know, we keep talking about the grounded tone of this and the believability, but that is very important. I'm going to continue along that theme, because it's not only applying to you know, the character and the tone of the film, but also the practical stunts and effects that they did here. You know, this not only adds to this real feel of Batman that we got here, but, you know, it adds to the artistry behind the film. You know, the dedication to the filmmaking that they have here. You know, I told you that Christopher Nolan is a guy with integrity. You know, he's not getting in here to have this thing muddled up with CG effects and turn into a damn cartoon later on.
Right.
Which is what happens, man, because that's what we see. We see these characters jumping around, and we know when they're CG, and they might as well just be animated cartoon characters.
Might as well be, yeah.
When we watch this movie here, we get the feeling that we're watching a real person the whole time. And not only that, but you really do feel like this city is being torn apart by this mayhem and chaos of the Joker. You know, it's not just explosions and crashes just for the sake of it.
And the stakes aren't the end of the world.
No, they're not. No, they just got to keep this man from blowing up this damn city, and we'll think about everything later. But the use of practical stunts that they've done here, you know, are amazing. You know, and very ambitious for the time.
He missed!
Shit.
You're like, yeah, how you like me now, bitch? Boy, talk about presentation, man. Yeah, I flipped your shit. But I remember that was a big deal, flipping that truck like that. And it was amazing. And you know, and you know, when we look at something like this, y'all, you know, sure, you can do it in CG. I'm sure you can do a good job in it in CG, but you're still going to know when it's real.
Yeah, there's just something that in your brain that tells you.
Yeah, it's just something where we still haven't got to that level of technology yet, where you know, like when it flipped, all those little details of all these separate moving parts, all their own on this truck, you know, just simply falling. You know, we're not at that point yet. I'm not saying we will be one day. We will, but it's not here yet. So I've hesitated talking about this because, you know, when you talk about this movie, it's all anybody talks about, and that is Heath Ledger as the Joker. Now, I didn't want to talk about him in the context of, oh, hey, he's the greatest Joker ever and whatnot. That's still a matter of opinion. He is, for me, the greatest Joker, but everybody's kind of, you know, talked about that point ad nauseum. You know, we all have heard it.
Come on, man. Jared Leto. You gotta give it up to him.
Yeah, you know.
There's a lot of great interpretations of the character.
Yeah, Cholo Joker, man. I mean, listen, you think I'm kidding? I respect for trying something different.
It's a hard act to follow.
Yeah,
Oh, very much so.
Cholo Joker. You know, it is a very hard act, and I cannot blame people for trying something different. I mean, shit, that old Mexican Joker they had, whatever, just Cholo Joker. It's almost like they had to do that.
Right.
Gangster Joker, whatever. But they, you know, I get it. But still, greatest performance that we have here. And we've talked about that over and over again. I don't want to talk about that aspect of the Joker right here. What I want to talk about is the Joker as a character, where even as exaggerated as this character is, it's the Joker. It's a guy dressed like a clown running around doing, crime. It still, in this movie, feels less like a supervillain and more like a terrorist.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, because I could watch this scene over and over again where he meets the mob. I'll watch this almost every 2 or 3 weeks. Just when I get bored, I'm working. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, what's the old Joker doing? Let me go see him talk to the mob again.
I know why you're afraid to go out at night. The Batman.
That is more of a traditional Joker that we see there plotting to kill Batman, being in his Joker character. But when we get down to his attacks in the movie, his attacks feel more like terrorist acts. Mm-hmm. Unlike, I'm gonna pick on your boy Superman over here. Unlike something like, we see in the other DC movies, even Marvel movies right now, where explosions, the explosions mean nothing.
They don't.
This is just spectacle. This is just, again, showboating that y'all got money. Just destroy stuff to show all the CG and computers and money that y'all got. This is for the people who want, this is what they think of when they think that we want escapism.
Well, especially when it's two super strong, nearly invulnerable people punching at each other. You're like, this doesn't mean anything until it's over. So it's just kind of a waste of time.
That's true. Again, this is just action figures.
Yeah.
With invisible hands beating this shit at each other.
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. There you go, Dragon Ball Z, man. Now, the explosion that's a Superman explosion right there. Superman explosion. That means nothing. That don't mean shit. Now, a Dark Knight Joker explosion?
Yeah.
That's some shit that'll get your attention. That's some shit that says run.
They dare to have some meaning behind it.
Well, that is true, man, because, looking at this, you actually get this urgent feeling that people need to be evacuated, that people are actually, you get the feeling that people are actually in danger. When Superman and Zod are beating the shit out of each other, ain't no people around. And then afterwards, like, sorry, y'all. But, did
I do 9/11? Oh, God.
Oh, shit. Did I hear all this? But when you watch this, Christopher Nolan takes the time to show you that there are, that people are actually in danger, and we feel for those people. That would just be background in all these other movies. Mm-hmm. That wouldn't be anything. But there's more to this that's of course in the movie. But you get the feeling that these people really do need to be saved. You feel for them. You want them to live.
Sure.
You want them to be rescued. Where in a movie it's just kind of like people ain't I know.
Their names aren't in the credits.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I would tell you how to stop, but you're not. So, and most importantly, going back to what we're saying about the practical effects, one of the reasons why you feel like things are dangerous here is because the explosion feels real. Mm-hmm. It doesn't feel like it's some fire composited over, some other CG explosions. The camera wasn't rolling. Jesus.
And go.
That's a real explosion, y'all. And again, we can tell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a whole behind the scenes feature on how that's coordinated and how they decided which windows they were going to blow out in what order and how they did it.
Really, even right down to the windows.
Oh yeah, man! Like everything. That was an abandoned building that they dressed up to look like Gotham General.
Yeah,
mm-hmm. and there's stuff inside where you can see them setting up the explosives and all that stuff. It's really impressive.
Nice. Yeah, and I remember the big deal being made about this movie even before it came out. How they were doing practical effects, blowing up real stuff. while we're talking about the Joker, the Joker's a great character. Love the Joker just as much as anybody else. Everybody loves his character here. Yes, and Heath Ledger gave an incredible performance. And, it's easy to take his performance and overlook everybody else in the film. But, I think that most of the villains are, when I say most, I'm talking about like the mob people and everything. Most of your villains in this movie, they're done very well. But, your super villains are done exceptionally well in this movie. I love how this movie handles Harvey Dent and the Joker. Mm-hmm. They're just not two villains yucking it up, talking about, we're going to get Batman, that mother, they're not doing that. And we've seen how that has worked in other films.
It's dirt simple, my boy. Ball up the fist, reach way back, and assert yourself. Reach way back.
Ain't no difference between them.
Yeah.
They're both the same character. They're both the Joker. Mm-hmm. There's, it's, and I know this is a lighter film, but still, it even tried to differentiate between Tommy Lee Jones as Harvey Dent, Two-Face, and Jim Carrey as the Riddler. Even though that's mostly on,
mostly on Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones. He trying to keep up with Jim Carrey, and people are like, boy, ain't no Jim Carrey already.
Yeah, just be you. Just be your grumpy self.
Yeah, exactly. I never thought I'd say that, but I like them when he gets mad. Yeah. Somebody piss his ass off. Somebody's shitting his sandwich.
Damn.
That'll do it.
Just happens.
Or he might leave.
Here in this film, this is Batman Forever. In this movie, you just had two guys playing, typical wacky comic book.
Clowns.
Yeah, they're clown, both of them. Yeah. They didn't care about story or anything really here. They just, we have two name actors. People don't come in to see them. You guys just, hey, you have fun. Do what you want to do. And this film, what I like about this is that when you have Joker and Two-Face here, their story is written so well. Their fates are intertwined. Harvey Dent was a part of the Joker's plan of corruption. Mm-hmm. This is because when you have two villains in a movie, it's a really fine balance. A lot of times things will get out of focus and, it'll get muddled up. That's been a complaint sometimes when having too many villains in a movie.
Sure.
Here, they made sure to make these two villains not only go after Batman in some capacity or another, but to also make their stories intertwined with each other. Not in a way where they're just teaming up trying to, defeat Batman like some, a Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
No, you have a guy who was corrupted by the Joker and turned into this tragic figure that we know as Two-Face.
When I say that you and your girlfriend was nothing personal, you know that I'm telling the truth.
This is something where it fit within the theme of the movie. This guy just causing chaos to see if he can do it because he thinks that everybody can be corrupted. He thinks everything is just, held on by the bare minimum by a thread. Mm-hmm. And he took prove his point, he took a person that was thought to be someone who could not be corrupted and turned into one of the biggest villains in the movie. I thought now that's writing,
Sure.
Have a theme, stick to it, and make it a part of the story.
Yeah, they go beyond just being villains. Like they feel like real characters.
And see, that says a lot about this movie because I talk about this grounded tone, and besides this dude running around in clown makeup right here, blowing up half the city and can't nobody get his ass. Because at this point, the government would be on him. You know what I mean? It's like, shit, if y'all can't stop him.
Well, it just seems like the government does not care about Gotham.
No.
They're like, you know what? If somebody can just blow it up, we can be done with it.
Drop a nuke on this thing. But you got a guy here who has half his face burned off. Anybody would die by those injuries right there. Yeah. But we don't question it. It's like, okay.
Well, they sell it.
Yeah, no, that's true. They sell it because the movie has already made us believe in this world to where when we get to a point where now we get to things that are fantastical, we buy it. I know that Christopher Nolan loves practical effects, but he gonna burn half this man's face off to get this.
So we got you set up for surgery next week for the scene.
Imagine going in that car, you're like, well, Christian Bale would do it.
Yeah.
We got the skin graft all scheduled. You're going to ruin the shot?
Are you into this or not?
I mean, not everybody can be a real actor like him, but okay, fine.
I thought you were committed.
Hey, man, what's that down there? What?
There you go.
That's method acting.
Beautiful.
You burn how So if we're talking about the Joker being a great Joker here, Heath Ledger, being great as the Joker, and even talking about what's your man's name here,
Aaron Eckhart.
Aaron Eckhart, him being a great Two-Face, and he was, man, and the makeup effects were great on that, the CG was great on that. But we're talking about these villains, got to give credit to the heroes here, or the hero of the movie. Well, I guess when I say heroes, I'm talking about two people, Batman and Bruce Wayne. Mm-hmm. The voice was a little, much, all that growling and everything.
Yeah.
I get that. But the movie showed, what I love about this film, it showed Bruce Wayne's obsession without making him moody, angsty, mopey, emo.
Yeah, or just, over the edge, like you go like, this guy's crazy.
No.
Like, no, he's just focused.
He's very focused, very dedicated. Methodical, dedicated, and they showed it. They chose to show him and his obsession in ways again that seemed human. Mm-hmm. We didn't have him moping around talking about his dead mom and daddy. That same incident in the alley over and over again. No, we didn't even see any of that in this movie. They chose to show the human side. He's being Batman at night. He can't even stay awake at work. He's in very important meetings and he's in the back sleep.
I speak for the rest of the board and Mr. Wayne in expressing our own excitement.
I thought Morgan was going to be like, hey, get your ass up. This is the human moment where he's tired, man. He's human.
Well, Christian Bale pumps a lot of that into it. And most times with Bruce Wayne, you don't get very much at all. Mm-hmm. But you get to see more him as a person. And even when he's Bruce Wayne pretending to be Bruce Wayne, like when he shows up to dinner with Harvey and Rachel, and he brings the Russian ballerina, mm-hmm. and he's just he's blowing it up, he's acting like an asshole on purpose, but he's also plotting. He's like, you know what? He's with my girl, but if I let him be the hero, then I can have her back. I was like, he's
always scheming, always scheming. Talking about scheming shit. This man scheming too. Like, ooh, shit. Let me get one of those. You got two. You don't need both those. That's what's his name? Rutger Hauer, right?
Yeah.
As you say, rest in peace. Yeah, I love the way he did that, man. That is actually Batman Begins right there that you're looking at.
I thought so, because Rutger Hauer's only in Batman Begins.
No, but that's another thing. I love how he's playing up that whole playboy life. He really doesn't like it.
Yeah, right. But he puts out a front there to be such a lackadaisical, irresponsible playboy that no one would ever suspect him of being Batman.
And brings the worst bitches around. I mean, they get swimming in the fountain.
Yeah. And he acts like, it's so funny, isn't it? Let me get in there with you.
I like the way he told him. They had that almost cartoonish way there. I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
And your friends do not have swimwear. I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
To leave. And he bought the hotel and the restaurant and started swimming himself. Like I'm on fire, your ass bitch.
I love how he shows up and you just see people looking at him like, this guy.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. And that's one of the reasons why I love this, because there's a lot of subtext to this. Mm-hmm. It has to wear on this guy mentally that he's protecting the city and still has to be one of the most hated guys in Gotham,
but it's by the rich elite who aren't even really affected by what's going on. The bourgeoisie.
You can tell by the way they're even talking at the table, Martin. Do you believe this Batman is good for the city, really?
He's so gauche, don't you agree, Bruce?
He's a pish to my posh. But there's also things here where they show you how Bruce Wayne is so obsessed with being Batman and so obsessed with saving the city, and to an extent rightfully so, but he takes it to dangerous levels himself. The whole thing where Lucius Fox is, because they have that, a high frequency generator. Mm-hmm. So this sonic device, this technology that Lucius Fox created, which can tap into any cell phone and you can hear any conversation going on. I loved in the movie that, even Lucius Fox says, look, I know this is some badass shit that I made, but come on, man, I don't want to be used like this, and you're getting a little out of line now.
Well, you have it where throughout the movie, Lucius Fox is on his side with it. Anything he does, just full support.
Yeah.
And when it comes to that, he's like, That's going too far. I never agreed to this.
Yeah, I know you Batman, but goddamn, settle your ass down.
You took my sonar concept. This is too much power for one person.
That's why I gave it to you.
You gonna get that shit to me? So we get caught, they gonna blame your black ass. And you know I can do it.
Project Fall Guy.
Now how we gonna do this? Shut your ass up.
What are you gonna believe, you or me?
You mother. I love it too because again I mean, you know, I love what they've done with other Bruce Waynes, because if this had been the Ben Affleck Bruce Wayne, he didn't care if he brought hoes to the house. He's like, hey, look, I got to break the tension sometimes. You know? He was bringing chicks to the house all the time.
Yeah,
you know, I love that this Bruce Wayne, you could tell he didn't like this, which again lets you know that he was very much absorbed into this role of being the protector of the city.
Sure.
To the point where he can't even stop to get some ass.
Well, we weren't with him all the time.
Yeah, no, that's true. You never know.
And plus, he had the whole ballet company on a yacht.
He should.
I'm sure he had something. He got something going on.
Oh yeah, on the side, something. You know, the other thing with this is that this is a superhero movie, but being that this is also more grounded, a little more realistic, it's also a lot more mature. You know, again, it did not feel the need to take on the superhero moniker and just say, you know, we got to be, you know, fun and free and, you know, childish. You know, we are not bound to do anything to sell these toys out here. We'll still sell them, but we're going to make this more of a mature superhero movie, more of a mature blockbuster. And that being the case, they did not feel the means to have a happy ending with this. The movie is a tragedy.
Yeah.
And when you get down to it, the movie's a complete tragedy.
Well, think of it like the roller coaster you have to go through, where with the first movie, he starts low and he's just trying to learn how to do things.
Yeah.
And then by the end, he's triumphant. He's made it. So we start with this movie. He's on top to where criminals, they see the bat signal. They're like, nah, we ain't selling coke tonight.
Yeah.
You know, just the idea of him has changed things. But he gets brought down by the end. It's The Empire Strikes Back.
And no, it is, because the city is saved. But this is not a happy ending for a lot of people. You know, a hero becomes a villain. A love is lost.
No, not me. Why are you coming for me?
Harvey, it's okay. It's all right. Listen.
Boy, when I saw that,
I know.
Everybody like, God damn, they did it.
Yeah.
We thought, you know, we thought this was a Batman movie where it's Batman. He's gonna save everybody. That's what he does.
We're used to the hero swooping in at the last second or somebody.
No, not here. There's a lot of sacrifice here, and sacrifice equals tragedy right here, man. You know,
it's similar to when Gwen Stacy's head hit the ground.
Oh yeah, yeah. Except that was a shitty movie. No,
it was, but that was like the one part of that movie where you just like, oh shit.
I don't even think that movie was a shitty movie. I kind of like that film. I'm one of the guys that likes that movie. I'd agree that it's not a great film, but I kind of liked it. But so let me stop, you know, fronting and everything. But I. Because I like the movie. But, okay, you got me. Because somebody gonna look it up. Man, you said you liked the movie back in the day. I know what y'all gonna do. You ain't gonna mess with me.
I didn't know you loved the rhino so much.
Yeah. I didn't say I loved it now. Stop it. Already getting jumped on for other things I didn't say. But, you know, with this, the city's not saved, love is lost, someone's turned into a villain. The city turns on Batman at the end, kind of, you know, when you think about it.
He makes that sacrifice. They're like, okay, they can hate me.
Yep. You know, if that's what I have to do to save the city, which is I'm not here to be loved. Mm-hmm. And also, what that does also is show that, you know, unlike other movies where they only say that, you know, they're held accountable or they show the consequences because they have to. At the audience has been like, I mean, y'all all up. Come on now. You know, okay, we'll address it. You know, this movie here shows within this film that with all this tragedy, with all, you know, with everything that's going on, with people turning on Batman himself, his actions have had consequences.
Sure.
You know, you going out and doing this extreme form of crime fighting, of course it's going to cause all kind of tragedy. You know, it's going to cause not only tragedy for yourself, for people around you, your loved ones, but like we all have seen, this extreme form of crime fighting leads to extreme forms of criminals who at this point say, ain't me, man, you created this.
But I know the truth. There's no going back. You've changed things. You complete me.
Like, I do not want to hear this.
Shut up. This movie has a climax that is smarter than most, not just superhero movies, but most blockbusters out there. Because when we get to the climaxes in these movies, and I'm gonna go back to your boy again. I'm gonna keep messing with his ass. Superman. This is the climax of this movie right here, where they just tear up the city.
Yeah.
And like I said, man, they weren't held accountable until the fans and the critics and everybody said something. And then in Batman versus Superman, that's when they decided, like, oh, well, I guess we should say something about all this shit here. Yeah. But I'm showing this climax here also because that's what it's all about. We just have to we have to end on a
God damn.
Galloping up that building.
Like, can't you fly?
But this looks cooler though. We have to show the money. We have to make, bigger is better. Because for them, that's those are the money shots. In the movie big. Send the people out with this sense of awe and spectacle. That doesn't always need to happen. And smarter movies know they don't always need to do that. With The Dark Knight, its climax hinges on intelligence, morality, character. It's not a generic beatdown. The end of this movie it's got about 3 climaxes actually, which has been a complaint. I'm fine with it, but I understand people complain about it. But but every one of those climaxes has been some sort of take on morality. Yeah. One of the climaxes here, of course, is on that boat, where the Joker does a very Joker thing. It's telling people, hey, I'm doing a social experiment. I'll put bombs on 2 ships, one with prisoners, one with nice people and citizens, but they both have to switch to the other's bombs. If one of y'all don't blow up each other, I'm blowing up all you bitches out there.
If, however, one of you presses the button, I'll let that boat live. Oh, and you might want to decide quickly because the people on the other boat may not be quite so noble.
This is again, it's a very comic book and Joker thing to do, but I appreciated it that they did not, put this in the middle of the movie or anything. They put it near the end, where again, it was a moral question. It wasn't something where we just started blowing stuff up and beating the hell out of each other,
That's one of the best things about the movie is that it waits for the end to kind of get heavy-handed with like something you haven't mentioned. I'm surprised it's political message behind it. Like there's so much that this movie is saying about society, and not to, society, but there's a lot going on there, like with the whole with Lucius Fox watching over people. He's like that's something the government is accused of doing in our real life.
Actually, this movie aged well and did not age well. In the sense that, when Lucius Fox says, at what cost are we doing this? This is the real issue now. When I say it has not aged well, I don't mean it's a bad reflection on the movie. I'm saying that this hits really close to home now.
It definitely does.
Especially in the wake of 9/11, where everybody was willing to throw any kind of freedom away for security. But it was the question. Then it became the question of well, how far are you going with this?
Yeah.
And look what you're giving up.
Yeah. By the way, don't scare people into giving their freedom away. Pleasure them into it. That's the only thing that's different. It's like we are gladly giving our freedoms away just to have this phone right here. This can be argued to be one of the best superhero movies out there, one of the best Batman movies, or both. One of the things I was going to talk about is making an argument for this being the best Christopher Nolan movie. Of course, that's a matter of opinion. We all have our favorite films of any director out there. Don't expect anybody to think the same. But I don't know. If I was to get into a discussion with somebody about this, I would say for me that out of watching all of Christopher Nolan's movies, I don't know. I think this one for me is the most rewatchable because now we're talking about a movie that's clever and complex. Before Christopher Nolan movies start turning to puzzles,
Yeah.
Like Tenet, I cannot tell you what the hell is going on in Tenet. Inception is a great movie. I've come to appreciate this movie over time. I have. It's like I saw it not too long ago again. I was like, damn, this is a really clever film. And it's pretty amazing the attention to detail that went behind this story. It's still very complex. And I could watch this over again, for its complexity. I'm just saying that, if you're watching something strictly for just straight entertainment value, but something that is also smart and complex, I just, for me, The Dark Knight is something I can just watch over and over again. Not have to think too hard about things, but also can appreciate the thought that went behind it.
Yeah, there's nothing that I would cut from this movie at all. Inception, there's arguments to be made.
Yeah, no, that's another thing. I think Inception is very long too.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it, Inception.
I think it's fun.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for Inception, but I see the flaws that you guys are talking about. But and Dunkirk, Dunkirk is great filmmaking.
It's incredible. It's so boring though.
But I'm gonna tell you, man. Yeah, you talk about something that could be leaner, and also
you don't have much with the characters.
That's exactly what I'm gonna say.
Anybody.
I've walked away from this movie, I don't remember any characters at all. I remember one dude that bumped his head. That was it. But there's no characters. There's not much character appeal. Mm-hmm. There's no characters I walk away with.
Yeah.
And I think his idea was that, it's like there's all these nameless soldiers out there in war. Like, you don't get to know them. It's like, this is a movie.
Yeah.
Like you got to do something with these people. Otherwise, I'm not going to care. It's just the way the brain works.
Love to see what he does with something that is, again, based more in reality now. Sort of a biopic in a way.
The only thing that comes close to The Dark Knight, in my opinion, is Memento.
Memento.
But that has it's not a fairy tale, but it feels very movie. Like you're very aware that you're watching a movie.
Yeah, no, I can see that,
but not in a bad way. It's a fun watch, especially if you haven't seen it.
A lot of people have mentioned Memento, man.
Guy Pearce is incredible in that movie.
A lot of people love that film. It's actually a great film.
It's a great film.
No, that movie has a great premise, man. This is the movie where Guy Pearce, he tattoos himself because he can't remember things after a certain time.
Yeah, short-term memory.
Short-term memory. So to remind himself, he has to tattoo himself in order to solve this mystery that's going on.
Funny every time I see you. Somebody's got to pay, Lenny. Somebody always pays.
It's a great premise, man.
And the movie is also told backwards, which was the first time that he was playing with that time.
Yeah. So again, it's a lot to be said for a lot of his films, but this is the reason why I think I enjoy The Dark Knight the most. And it's not just because it's Batman. Both of you hit on something where you said it's just a tight film. As far as filmmaking goes, it's incredible what he's done here with it, from the acting to the attention to detail, the effects, the script, the story, everything. It's just perfect for me, man.
Oh, it's a home run for sure.
Yeah, the pacing of this movie, everything just magically just falls into place, man. This is a once in a lifetime movie right here for me, man. If you have anything to say about your favorite Christopher Nolan movies, then please do so. It's not that I'm saying my opinion is right and yours is wrong. Just give me my reasons why I love this. But hey, give some of your reasons why you like some of the Christopher Nolan movies that you love, actually. And it'd be good to hear from you. So there you go, folks. There's our discussion. That is that.